It's the latest episode of The Ugly Truth. Today, Paula and I are talking about some weird dreams that I had, and then we get into a kind of fight over the new social media banner that we had put together. All of this, plus some ugly and awkward moments of the week. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie.
Giant pile of baby penises.
Paula.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the Ugly Truth.
Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 478. That'll do, little pig. That'll
do, pig. That'll do.
I had some really weird dreams this morning in quick succession. You know when you're like right before you wake up? I don't know if you know. I know you don't dream as much, but
I've been having weird dreams myself.
Okay, so I have been reading that weird dreams, a lot of people are having really weird dreams because we're all under duress and our brain is trying to come to terms with everything. And so that's what happens is we do it in our dreams so that when we wake up, we don't feel like we have zero idea of what the fuck is going on in our lives. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so it's just our inner psyche trying to work shit out. So I had this really weird dream that you and I were doing the podcast and we were recording and everything was going really good, super smooth, you know, beat after beat, joke after joke. And I looked down and my mic was on mute. None of it had been recorded. I was like, oh, Paula, you're going to hate me. And you're like, what? You're like, hey. And I showed you, because we were able to see each other. I showed you the blinking red light. You're all, oh, no. It was like.
Why did you not see your line not jumping?
I don't know. It was a dream. It was so crazy. Funny. It was so distressing. And then, because I woke up this morning going, oh, we're doing the show today. And so then the other one was, for some reason, I was sitting in a school auditorium with all the lights off and there was a talent show going on. And a friend of mine, their son is in the military and he is turning 21. And in the talent show, they kept calling him up as winning every category because it was his birthday and he was a newly minted soldier. And I was like, why are they giving him all the awards? And
was he doing any kind of act though?
Not at all. But he was just there. And so I'm like, well, this is a weird way to honor someone in the military. It was so weird.
Saying you won the talent show even though you don't have a talent?
And he didn't even participate. And I'm like, what about all those other poor children?
Have gun will travel, reach the heart of a man.
Exactly. And then the other thing was, I left the talent show and I went into the back parking lot and I was like wandering around and there was a bunch of chef students learning how to make meals. So I walk up to this one person and he said, oh, would you like to sample my meal? I'm experimenting. I'm like, yeah, sure. And I said, well, what is it? And so he goes, well, these are artichokes in a cream sauce. This is pork loin and then a plum. And I went, all right.
I'll try the plum.
I'm like, well, the plum looks good. He goes, well, can you try the pork? And I'm like, it looks a little medium rare-ish to me. He goes, well, it might be a little undercooked, but there are parts that aren't. And I'm like,
do you have a meat thermometer I could borrow, please?
I'm sitting there, and in my dream, I'm trying to cut this pork loin, and I can't. I just want a teeny piece. And so I get a piece I think is teeny, and it's held together with a bunch of other meat. And I go, well, here we go. And I literally remember putting this giant hunk of meat in my mouth, and it's all over my chin. And I'm trying to get a napkin, and it's all ridiculous. And I can't taste.
I know what you did the night before.
It was so messy. And so it was like, I'm like, well, I guess it's good. You know, it was the most bizarre. And then I woke up, I'm like, what the fuck is going on with me?
It's a bit gamey.
It's like, why am I doing all of this? It's so crazy.
You know what would be weird is if you went to the doctor and he's like, oddly enough, you have trichinosis. Did you eat some raw pork recently?
The dreams are real.
Well, speaking of, do you have any more dreams or?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, so I have been having the hardest time sleeping for probably a good month or two now. Okay. And I can always tell when something's like bothering me because I start sleeping on the couch and I don't know why. Mm-hmm. So I've been sleeping on the couch for probably a good month. I think I'm just becoming so sleep deprived because I'm not sleeping enough that I'm starting to get a little confused. And
like during the day?
Yes. So what happened was is I was talking to Victor and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what was that thing we were talking about the other day where I said it costs $5,000? And he's just like, he looked at me, he's like, what? I'm like, remember? I'm like, that thing we were going to get. But then I'm like, oh my God, it costs $5,000. Never mind. And he just looked at me and he's like, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. And I was just like thinking, and I'm like, did I dream that? He's like, well, what was it? And I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, God.
I just remember that it cost $5,000, but I thought for sure he was going to know what it was. But I didn't know what it was.
That is weird.
And so I'm like, maybe that was a dream.
Yeah.
And then there was another one where during the day, I was walking and I was going to do something that I remember. I'm like, oh, I have to do this. But then I was just like, was that an awake thing or was that a dream thing?
Oh, God.
And so I was just like, man, I'm like, I'm really tired.
You need like a significant sleep.
A good amount of sleep because I said, I think it's starting to affect me.
Well, that does happen.
Yeah. Well, I had a dream the other night for some reason that we were eating spaghetti with Dad. I don't know why.
What? He hates spaghetti. I hate spaghetti.
He does? I didn't know that.
No, I think I do. Not him. I meant me.
I made spaghetti for him once and
Wait, what?
This is when my first husband and we stayed with him in Tennessee for a while. And I remember I made dinner a couple of nights. He's like, wow. He's like, this is delicious. He's like, this has been a real treat having you here. He's like, you don't realize how good food is when you've been eating such bad food for such a long time. And when he was sitting there at the table,
he gave so little fucks about her and her feelings. Like none. And you know what? Here's the thing. Okay, we all agree that our father was horrifically abusive to us, but when it's not being directed at you, it is joyous.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Because that you're like, well, at least it's not targeted at my ass.
I just remember, because he was being so sincere. He's like, you don't realize how good food can be, like when it's made by somebody else, and when you've been eating such terrible food for so long. Like he was some kind of victim.
Oh my God, my stomach hurts.
And I was just like, I remember just sitting there uncomfortable, and I didn't even look at her. I'm like, well, thanks, Dad. I'm glad you like it.
To be fair, she was a horrible cook.
Oh God.
I mean, the worst.
She had like 25 years to work on it.
Oh my God, she was so terrible.
But I asked Victor that. I said, is cooking just like pretty normal for people, or do you kind of have to know? And he's like, no. He's like, you have to know. And he says, because I've had other women cook in my life, and he says either it's real basic or it's just the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't have much flavor. And so I'm like, really? I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. So,
well, for example, if I have a really bad migraine and by dinner time, there's just no way I can be around food because it just makes me sick. Daryl will go, well, it's okay, I'll make dinner. I'm like, well, what are you going to make? He's like, well, I don't know. Because I immediately know that it's not going to be good. And so a couple weeks ago, I was upstairs laying down and he came up. He goes, well, you want some food? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. What'd you make? Hot dogs. So he brought me up a hot dog on a plate and I was like, well, thank you. I mean, I can't complain because I honestly would never make anything. I mean, it's either that or nothing.
Victor's the same way. I'm just like, well, he'll like, I'll take care of dinner. I'm like, well, what are you going to make? He's like, we've got some frozen chicken and corn and I thought I'd make some I'm like, you know what? And by then I'm already on DoorDash. I'm like, you know what? The pizza will be ready in 20 minutes. Just go pick it up. And he's just like, well, pizza's expensive. I'm like, well, I already bought it, so too bad. And then Ryan will be like, is it Mountain Mike's? And I'm like, yes, it is. He's like, oh, Dad, I'll go with you. Because he's like, maybe that girl I like is
there.
That's right. Because there's a girl there,
There's a girl there.
Although this time, me, Olivia, and Victor were all convinced it was this one girl. There's this little blonde girl with she's got like dirty blonde hair. She usually wears it kind of long in a ponytail. And she's kind of got like this cute little simple look. Mm-hmm. No, we were wrong. It's like the Latina in the back with the big ass.
Paula, why are you so surprised? This is who he likes.
Why did we think that's who it was? We should have been looking for the big ass ethnic chick.
He didn't want us. He does not want a plain Jane. He wants someone else.
He wants the ethnic big ass chick.
He wants excitement. He wants passion. And why wouldn't he? What's wrong with that? Nothing.
Well, I mean, I get that. I get it.
Good. Embrace it.
He's got exciting women in his life. So, I mean, that makes sense. And I told Victor, I'm like, honestly, Victor, I'm like, you like him a little trashy too. I'm like,
That's okay, whoa. Okay,
well, when
stop
I say
yourself.
Trashy, no. When I say trashy, he likes the red lipstick. He likes the stilettos.
Yeah,
he
but what
likes
does that have to do
eyeliner.
with what does that have to do with a Latina with a nice ass?
No, what I'm saying is if you look at his mother and then you look at who he picks.
So you're the trashy one?
No, but I'm not shy when it comes to eyeliner and lipstick and stilettos when I'm going out.
Oh yeah. And by the way, change of subject. You have not said boo about our new banner. Do you hate it?
Not to you, I haven't.
Do you hate it?
No, let me ask you a question though. Let's say I decided to change the cover on our website.
That was the photo you told me to use.
Okay.
Literally said use this one and I said okay.
Let's say I decided to change the cover on our page and I decided to airbrush it. And then I didn't
airbrush it.
Jamie.
It's not airbrushed. All that it is I highlighted the makeup. That was it.
So, and I made some changes and then I just posted it without saying like, hey, take a look. Tell me what you think. And
because you told me to use that
open
photo.
your page and then you're just like, what?
Okay, hold on. So are you telling me you don't like the photo?
No, the photo is okay. I'm a little overmade.
That is easily fixed.
Like I felt like I don't even know if that's me.
It is you. And you look amazing, by the way.
Okay.
You don't think so?
Well, it was a little shocking. It was just a little shocking.
If you don't like it, I will change it. But I want it noted that you told me that was the photo to use. If you don't like the adjustments made to make it more a standout, then I will remove them. That's totally fair.
I'm fine with the photo wherever it is in there, but...
What do you mean, wherever it is?
I'm sure it's in there somewhere, the photo.
Paula, you need to just be straight with me. If you don't like the way it looks, then just fucking say it, and I will change it. It
was a little bit more makeup than I'm used to.
It is for a purpose. It's supposed to look a little overboard in the sense that it's for, the show. But if you don't,
you didn't have any lipstick on.
I use the exact same thing that I did with you. I highlighted the same makeup I did. What is it that you don't like? Is it the eyes? Is it the lips?
No, the lips were fine. It was the eyes were actually pretty. Like the eyeballs, those were nice.
Those are your eyes. I didn't do anything to them. All I did was heavy the eyeliner.
I just don't want someone to see that and then meet me in person and be like, who's this fugly?
No one thinks that. There's a billion photos of us that we don't look like that. Those are glam. That is not real. Everyone knows it. In fact, if you look at all the comments, they all know that it's glam. It's not legit how we walk around all day.
All right. Then I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. So I guess I was just a little stunned just because I was just like, whoa, I'm like, where is this coming from? So I didn't know you were going to change it. Like, I know we talked about it like a really, really, really long time ago.
It was a couple months ago. And I said, I mean, obviously I cannot get, we cannot get professional photos done right now.
Right.
Nor would we necessarily do that yet, but I definitely said we need to update it. I mean, this thing was way fucking old. I don't even have that hair color anymore, like at all.
I don't ever remember my hair looking that good.
Oh, and the old one or the new one?
Actually, okay, that's my one complaint. I said, I was looking at it, and I'm just like, she can make me look like, this gorgeous, but she can still give me black root.
But I didn't change your hair.
No, I was just saying, I'm like,
oh, like why didn't I touch
everything.
that up?
I said, but I still have black roots.
You had just gotten your hair done. That was on our way to Reno. You had just gotten it done. That was your hair.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
It wasn't this. You think? I mean, your concept of time is, well. First of all, we're dealing with someone who has had no sleep in a month, so I understand.
I was just going to say, I thought I was buying something for $5,000. What it is, I don't know, but
it is true. However, I did not even consider running the update by you because I thought you looked so amazing that it wouldn't even matter. Like, I legit thought you looked gorgeous. And
no, I liked it.
It's glam. It's total glam. It is not meant to be like, hey, this is our authentic selves. I mean, I guess I could have put a photo of you in your nightgown if you had liked.
No. I guess I would have just, like, if you could have just sent it and say, like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is the idea behind it. You know, what do you think? Then I would have been like not so astonished. Like when I was just like, what?
I guess my thing is this, is like you literally didn't even know if I would record a show without you on the July 4th weekend. Like, I can't gauge your interest every time sometimes. And so I just needed to do it. And it had been something that had been on my checklist to get done, because every time I go to our Facebook page, I fucking hate that banner. Yeah. It is the bane of my existence. And I have actual photo like lighting and stuff. But I mean, with the pandemic, when are we going to come over and do that? Like, never. So I have this backdrop and I have all these lights and everything, and we can't do it. So I said, let's at least take the photo that she approved. And I did a bunch of actually, I didn't do that many modifications. I just heavied the eyeliner to a glam level, because there's like a gajillion apps where you can do that. And I thought yours turned out so amazing that I was like, she'll totally love this. So that's why I didn't even think about sending it to you, because I said, there's no way she won't love this. Of course, you and I are not the same people.
No, it just surprised me.
Mine is heavy too. Mine is very heavy. It is
your eyes. You don't have any lips.
To me, in all honesty, I told Daryl, I said, her photo is way better than mine, because it's full, you know, like she's facing the camera fully. She's not doing a side profile like me, and the lighting is way, way, way better. So she looks like ravishing. So the best I could do is what I had was this, without taking a new one, because I didn't really want to do that, because I thought the quality would be different. Right. So that's why I chose mine, which was Vegas at nighttime, and yours was Reno during the day. And I was like, well, I guess it kind of, I mean, behind the scenes we would know, but anyway, next time I will not make any changes photographically without your approval. You are correct. But I really can't. I refuse to hear that you don't like it, because you look amazing in it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I personally think you look fabulous. And I was just like, see, we clean up nice, because we could look like that.
Yeah, with the...
I mean, it's not daytime, but...
I'm still thinking about plastic surgery. I just don't know.
Based on what I just told you, why would you get plastic surgery?
I'm starting to get like jowls. Like, I need to start walking with my head back. So like my skin like lays back. Or I'm just going to start doing those things where women are using like Scotch tape to like wrap around their face.
Okay. I bought these when I went through your phase, because I went through that phase as well where I thought I had jowls. And I probably do. I bought something called Frownies. Frownies. And you can get them on Amazon through the Ugly Truth link. They are like, they look like Band-Aids, and you can put them on your face. And they're from like the 50s or 60s. Tried and true. And apparently they work. And you put them on, and it can like somehow train your muscles to not sag, like, and not atrophy in your face.
Okay.
I don't know if it's real or not, but I bought them convinced, and I used them a couple of times, and my face started to ache a lot. And so I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I let it go, but I did have them for some time. Yeah.
The facial patches?
Yes. Frownies.
Oh, so they're supposed to re-stretch out your skin?
Well, they kind of like, it's like a fake facelift or something. I can't remember exactly what they guarantee, but I just remember buying them and going, well, maybe this will work. Because I was so...
I don't know.
But anyway.
Ever since that one lady had to spread my eyebrows like it was a vagina, I'm just like,
know.
This has to change.
Forehead and between eyes. Yes, that's exactly why I bought them, because of the between the eyes thing, because I went and had a facial, and she did the same thing. She goes, shall I exfoliate? And da-da-da. I'm like... okay. And so she's like, wee, and opened it up, and I was like, I feel exposed.
You know, that's the thing about waxing though, is that, well, I've been told I can't have my legs waxed. I've told you that before though. I'm not hairy enough.
Right.
And that's the other thing about people who wax their legs. I'm like, so they have to grow it out that far? I'm like, what's the point then if you're going to have to walk around hairy that whole time, you know?
Yeah.
To get it waxed out. And then the same thing with the vagina is just like, you're going to have to be like a prickly pear for a while before you get waxed again. And so I don't know. I just assume shave.
These reviews on Frownies are all 5-star. And they're like, I'm 52 with fair skin and a serious looking forehead. I always look serious or mad in photos. I could have saved myself so much money on Botox if I had known about these. After using 3 or 4 times a week for a month, my frown line is about 75% gone. When I start to notice it coming back, I put on my Frownies and I put them on overnight and it's almost zero. I have no wrinkles. And then they say how to use, then everybody's like, this is how you use them if you really want to work. And they show photos. So yeah, maybe I'll get some more Frownies. It's been a while. But they legit work. And a lot of skincare people say, yeah. Because, I'm not a big... I keep saying that I'll do Botox, but I haven't yet. Because I'm kind of afraid. But, maybe the Frownies are a way to go for now.
Maybe. I'm looking at the reviews.
Yeah.
Okay, so some people say they didn't work. Like they won't stick.
Of course.
But, did you wash your filthy face before you put them on there? Or?
And nothing's 100%.
They didn't stick. And I'm like, well, is your face like a corn dog?
Did you get the layer of slime off of it?
Something is very different about these Frownies. This got a 0. Something is very different about these Frownies. I have been using Frownies for over 10 years, and these are made of thinner material. The color is different, and they don't stop me from frowning during the night.
Maybe that's a testament on your life.
I am hoping that this is just a bad batch. Well,
you do have to be careful about knockoffs on Amazon sometimes. So you have to be really careful about who you purchase them from. I know that's a thing that's happened to me before where I thought I was getting this high-end product and I'm like, this is definitely not the product because I've had the product before. So you have to kind of be careful making sure you buy it from a legit retailer.
Yeah, I'd probably just buy from Frownies directly. Yeah. The effectiveness of this product, to say the least, was a definite no-go. These were all on Amazon, though, so maybe they were knockoffs.
Well, and that's the thing. If you go to, I'm sure there's a frownies.com. If you go there and say purchase, and then if it takes you to the Amazon link, then you know you're buying the actual Frownies. I actually thought they worked. I'm not going to lie. I definitely thought they worked. So, give it a try. It's like $11 or $12. It's like nothing. It's not like it's a huge investment. So, try it.
If it hurts when you peel them off.
It does. Yes, of course it does. But I would take them off in the shower or something. Or like you get your face wet and then they kind of roll off.
But do you have to do it every day?
Yeah, I was... Well, I started doing it at night, but Daryl and I hated each other back then, so it was no big deal. But normally...
Don't look at me anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I was doing them. I would go to sleep in them and take them off in the morning. Yeah, so try it. Okay, so there were 3 things that are really weird notables in the news. I know you know about 2 of the 3, but I wanted to do a quick talk about them. First, Mary Kay Letourneau died.
Yes.
Here's why I'm bringing it up. The last time you mentioned Mary Kay Letourneau, I believe it was back in 2017, and you were telling me that they were separating because they were having some issues. Now, I guess they truly did separate in 2019.
I think they got divorced, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they're... I couldn't find anything about actually being divorced, but I know that they're legally not bound to each other at the time. I think 2019 was when it was final. Anyway, the reason that I brought it up was when the last time we talked about it, I went on such a tirade that we actually had to delete it from the show.
Oh, really?
Yes, because you were like, Jamie, I did not realize that you were so emotionally charged about this person, because I was going on and on about how she's a fucking pedophile. She belongs in prison. And I was
she did go to prison. Yeah,
she did. But I hate this word, but it did fucking trigger me because I despise her so much. And the fact that she got the media treatment, like they felt sorry for her because she was cute and she was, she's in love. And they did a movie about her. And I really hated it. So anyway, she died of colon cancer. She was only 58. What was really weird to me is that People magazine did a profile on the guy. I can't pronounce his name.
Billy Falou
in May about how he's looking for love with an age-appropriate partner. And I'm like, how weird. And then, a month and a half later, Mary Kay Letourneau is dead. And it's really strange because I don't know how those children are doing it. Like, I know they love their father, but of course they love their mother. Yeah. So it's a really strange thing. I don't wish death on anybody, but I still maintain she was a pedophile. And I'm, but what a devastating thing for that whole family, that whole situation.
Well, she had 4 other children with her first husband.
I know. Well, this time around, I'm not going to go on a tirade. I just wanted to mention it because we had talked about it once before and we actually had to delete it from the show. So anyway, yes, she is gone. And now there's more carnage for them to, sift through to try to have a semblance of a normal life. So
yeah,
I feel for her children for sure. All right. And then the big news, it's not big news, but it's something that's kind of, there's a current going on. Ex-Glee actress Naya Rivera is missing.
Well, presumed dead now.
Yes, it's now a recovery mission. She had gone boating with her little 4-year-old son on a lake that apparently they've had 9 drownings there in the last 6 or 7 years because it's a man-made lake, which I did not realize.
Yeah, it's a reservoir.
And there's just a ton of rocks and trees at the bottom of the lake, and it's very low visibility. So they said it could be weeks before she surfaces or never found because she's entangled in the bottom. Now, you and I both are kind of like, did she really drown though?
You know what? The moment I heard it, I just said, something's not right.
I agree.
Because the only reason why I thought that is because, okay, I was a single mother once.
Right.
And there would have never been a time where I would have gone to a lake with my children and rented a boat and took them out by myself,
right.
Took them out and took them swimming in the lake by myself. I just said it would have never happened.
And she wasn't wearing the life jacket that was in the boat.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. They found her son sleeping.
Right. And so I just said, I'm like, that just would have never happened because
it's just so dangerous.
Well, not just that. It's just, it's not
odd.
It's not something, unless you're real rustic, it's not something a single mom would really do.
Right.
Or if it is the type of thing you do, then you have your own boat,
And it was a pontoon boat.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a regular boat.
And here's the other thing is that she was a celebrity. She was a glam celebrity.
And model. Mm-hmm.
So I don't, and she was married to rappers and actors and things like that. So
she was engaged to somebody who was charged with child pornography and he killed himself. And that didn't work out. And then
they weren't engaged. They just were dating. Yeah.
And then she got married. They were divorced in 2018, I believe. And that's where her son is from. That marriage. But you're right. She had been, I don't know if engaged or whatever, but she definitely had a nice dating life. And not in a critical way. I'm just saying that, yes, she definitely was high profile, I would say.
There was nothing that led me or I would say most people to believe that she had a lake rustic side to her.
Yeah, she didn't seem very outdoorsy.
I haven't heard that it's common that she would take her son out.
I have not either.
I haven't heard that. So to me, this seems out of character.
Not to mention, apparently, and this is kind of new, and it's so hearsay. So I neglect to really mention it. But apparently, there were people on jet skis following her because she was a celebrity. But I don't.
Okay.
Does she seem like a celebrity that you would recognize on a boat in the middle of a lake?
No. And so, did you watch the security video yet?
I did. Do you think she was suicidal?
No.
Okay.
If you look on a map where that lake is, it's actually quite small.
Yes.
And it's kind of out there a little bit. It's not easy to get to. And there are other lakes. There's actually a bigger lake, just beyond it. So it would make more sense to go to the bigger lake, in my opinion. Unless maybe the smaller lake, because you are a celebrity, you want to go there. I don't really know. So she parks in this parking lot. There's literally 3 other cars there. 3.
I saw that. Very, very desolate.
And she parks kind of funny.
Yep.
Because she purposely parked funny. Because it looks like she was going to park normally. And then she's just like, I'm going to park this way.
Did you think she was in a rush?
We said the same thing. And I said, you know what? I said, she's walking really fast. The son's having a hard time keeping up. And it's almost like she has, she's got to keep time. She's late for something.
Yeah.
We were watching her and I said, she didn't look like someone who was disturbed or upset, but she did look like she was in a hurry. What I merely speculated is that I think she's trying to get away.
Why?
I don't think she can escape who she is. And so
she's that famous?
She's famous for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, I don't know. I don't follow her. Yeah, I just don't. I don't follow her, so I don't know.
Like, she can't get rid of the Glee stink, you know? I mean, and everyone thinks that show is cursed.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
And I think that she probably believes, well, this is just my opinion. I think that she believes that, you know, if it were me, giving my son back to his father and just going away would probably be a better life for him than having to live this, you know, horrible life with all this stench all over me. Then, well,
I guess I don't know enough about her or her life to know if that would be a reasonable situation. That's completely unreasonable in a normal person's brain. But if she's troubled or whatever, then then people can come up with reasons why they do stuff like that all the time. I think it's a really odd situation personally, and I don't really want to, I don't want to speculate because I just don't know. I mean, like, I thought to myself, I'm like, did she give her son Benadryl so he'd go to sleep? Did she kill herself? Did she swim away like you think? And I don't know. Or did someone hurt her and she died? I mean, who knows? So, okay. And now my final story, I had a lot of anger when I read this because it hits a little close to home in my heart. And so you may not feel the same, but I'm going to tell you the story anyway. A person named Joe Perez has organized a Trump assembly at the Selena statue in Corpus Christi. The event is called Bitty Bitty Trump Trump, and it's encouraging supporters to bring their flags and their Trump gear. 134 people have planned to attend via Facebook group meeting or whatever. Obviously the estate, the Q Productions and the Quintanilla family have issued a cease and desist letter. It says they own the common law trademark of the phrase bitty bitty bomb bomb. The letter states that the event is unlawfully engaging in marketing, promotion, exploitation of the Quintanilla brand. Selena's name has never been associated with partisan politics or organizations. Associating her with any single politician, particularly Trump, is damaging to her image. The Selena statue is a symbol of the Hispanic community, Mr. Perez says. I want to deliver a message that minorities who support Trump are not alone. I want to encourage those that it's okay to show support for Trump. While the cease and desist letter states he has 2 days to comply, he will continue with the assembly at the statue where he announces his mayoral candidacy for Corpus Christi. And I was mad. I got angry.
I mean, you can't suggest that the deceased would endorse that. I mean,
well, exactly. And you know what else I thought when I read that? I thought, you know what? Everybody a few years ago, they said that Selena's father and family were so greedy that they were just basically milking this turnip with Selena and, constantly making money off of her, being dead and her legacy and all that stuff. But now that people like this person want to utilize her name and her music and all of that to support their event that has nothing to do with her, they have they have every intellectual property owned, and there is it is clad. Like, nobody can do anything without their permission.
Well, and it also just goes to show that she's still a popular figure in their culture.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
They're not being greedy. They're not being, they're not capitalizing on her. They're protecting her. They're protecting her image because there's still an interest in her.
There will always be she's an icon now.
For that, for the Tejano community, absolutely.
Well, even for your Hispanic community. I mean, young girls still look up to her as an amazing, Hispanic figure. So anyway, I read that. I'm like, you motherfucker, what do you think you're doing? I'm like, Abraham will not stand for this. So anyway, I don't think it's going to go well for him, is my point.
Well, he's probably just trying to get his name out there. The shock factor or whatever.
Absolutely is. That's exactly his point.
What an absolute douchebag.
Total douche. So disrespectful. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I knew you wouldn't find that in your perusing of the internet today.
No, I wouldn't.
All right. Let's do some ugly and awkward moments of the week.
When we were in Orville, it was the day we were leaving, the morning we were leaving.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Sonic there. Victor and the kids, they like freak out when there's a Sonic because the only other Sonics they see usually are like in the Midwest when they go to visit family in like, Oklahoma and all that kind of stuff. They have them kind of all over there.
Got it.
And so it's the place where you like drive in, you park. They've got like the big menu. You push the button, and then they bring out your food. No, they're not on roller skates, but it's the same idea. So they wanted to go there for breakfast. There's nothing there that I could absolutely eat at all.
What, they don't offer gluten-free items at the Sonics?
They offer milkshakes at 7 a.m., Jamie. So up the street from that was a Denny's. And so I'm like, you know what? While you guys are doing that, I'm going to order something from Denny's, and then we'll go over there, pick that up, and then we'll just like park in. We can all eat at the same time. I ordered my, little gluten-free slam from Denny's, and it said it would take like 20 minutes. And so by the time they ordered everything, got all their food and everything like that, I'm like, okay, by the time we get over there, it should be just about time. So they park in the shade, and I walk up to there, and when I get inside, there's like 10 people in the lobby, and I'm like, what the hell? And the Denny's was like empty. And so I was just like, listen, I was like, okay. The other people start talking to each other, and there was like 6 people, and they're like, well, we're just waiting to get seated. And they're like, oh, okay. They're like, do they know you're here? And they're like, no, but nobody's even come to the front. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, what about you guys? And they're just like, well, we're just waiting to pay. And they're like, but nobody's come up here.
What's going on?
So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, God. Well, at the back of the counter, I see a bag with like 2 things in it. And it's just waiting. And I'm like, I bet you that's my to-go order. And so I'm just like, if I have to sit here and wait for someone to come. So I waited like 5 minutes, and then I'm like,
oh my God.
And I'm like, you know what? This is stupid. I'm just going to grab my bag and go, because no one had come up yet.
And was it paid for?
Yeah, I already paid online.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. So I walked around the corner, I grabbed my bag, and then I walked out, because I'm just like, what are they going to do? Stop me? I'm like, nobody's in around.
Right.
So I get in the car, we take off, we drive down to the river where we were going to go hang out, and everyone starts eating. I open mine. My first lid was all my hash browns, and then I open this. I go to get the second one, and it should be like my turkey bacon, my eggs, and then like gluten-free English muffin. Well, the second one was hash browns. So I was like, oh my God. I'm like,
you stole someone's order.
I'm like, I think I stole someone's order. So I paid $10 for like a $4 thing of hash browns.
A lot of hash browns.
But I was thinking to myself, I'm like, what made me think they would have had it so together that my order would just be sitting there waiting?
Oh,
so
God.
I'm like, damn it. And so Victor's like, well, enjoy your hash browns. So I'm like, yeah, right.
Okay, you have a very strange symbiotic relationship with potatoes, because every time I go to the store now and I see fingerling potatoes, I think of you. Because every meal
you had them too.
I know, but every meal you ordered was breakfast because you knew it was gluten-free, and you got this giant pile of baby penises sticking straight up. Like, they didn't even lay them down. They were all like standing up at attention. They were all
erect.
These micro penises, this bowl, and you're like, what is with the fingerlings? I'm like, I don't know. They have a lot of them though, don't they?
Well, there was one time I'm pretty positive they made one look very penile-like.
Well, they had one. You had a dish of them, and they have them all like up like matches, and they had one very large one in the center.
And it was kind of like straight up and kind of curved a little bit.
It was absolutely phallic.
I'm like, that chef has a sense of humor. You know that when they get those fingerlings, they try and find the one that looks most penile.
They're getting creative.
Send it out. They probably they have like a camera out there, and they're like, "Oh, it's a bunch of chicks here. Watch this."
Give them the big one. Give them the one center penis one.
See what she did. Sure. I should have bent over and like put it in my mouth, and then with my hands behind my back.
They'd be like, "Oh, she gets it. She gets it. She understands." Yeah.
Dipped it in the sour cream first. And
yum, delicious. Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, look at that one. Oh yeah."
You and your potatoes for the rest of your life.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
That's so funny. That's a good one, you thief. So interestingly, mine has to do with breakfast as well. It was during the 4th of July break when we were kind of just chilling and didn't do a show. And so I decided I was going to make breakfast, which I hadn't done in a really long time. And so I needed bacon. And so all the bacon we have is frozen because we don't obviously use it that often. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to put the bacon in the microwave. I'm going to defrost it just a little bit so I can take it apart and cook it and, you know, keep it going. And I was making like an omelet or something. So it was like I was super mega multitasking. So I put the bacon in the microwave and I hit too long of a defrost. So I was like, oh my God, the bacon is still defrosting. So I go over there and I open it up. It's fully defrosted and cooked. And there's so much, because it was thick cut. So there was just like gobs of fat, melted fat in the bacon package. And I was like, oh, awesome. I just ruined a huge pound, like a big ass pound of bacon. So like an idiot, I pick up the bag of bacon and it's so thawed that as I pick it up, it all slides down to the bottom of the bag and all the fat rises to the top. And also it had melted open the bag. So when I pull it out of the microwave, not only did it slide down like a big slug, it then opened up and spilled all over the floor. And then it fell with a thud like a squid on the floor.
Did it burn you?
Yes. On top of everything else, I got burned by the fat. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, what was I thinking? Like, why didn't I get a bowl and like slowly like do it properly? But I was in such a hurry. I'm like, oh shit, I'll just grab it. I'll throw it on the counter and whatever. Not thinking that the bag would have melted open. It was like 5 minutes. The thing was cooked. So when it fell like a giant blood clot on the floor and then sprayed fat everywhere, I just stood there and I was like, I can't believe this. Now, here's the thing with Daryl. When I fuck up like this, he runs to see because it pleases him greatly to see me mess up because I never do if I can help it. But I'm awkward. And so, of course, it does happen. So he gleefully goes, what'd you do? You know, and he comes running in and then in exchange for laughing at me, he will help me clean up the mess or whatever. Well, he didn't realize what I had done. I go, oh, I just dropped the bacon on the floor and it's a huge mess. He's like, oh, that's too bad. And he just kept playing his dumb video game. It took me an hour to clean it up because the bacon fat dried immediately. And I have travertine. It is porous. So it now is going to require a full cleaning with special cleaner, or my floor will be oily for the rest of its life. So it was a significant issue. And he's like, what are you doing? I had the steam cleaner out and everything like that. I said, well, I told you what happened. He goes, no, you didn't. I said, yeah, I did, idiot. I told you that I dropped an entire pound of bacon and it was ruined. I mean, it was just, I was beyond myself. So I'm like, I'm sorry that I, kept you from enjoying my awkward moment, but it was really awkward. And I go, and I burned myself. I didn't realize it was so serious. I'm like, well, it is to me. So anyway, that was my awkward moment.
Well, what are you going to do?
Not eat bacon.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
That's why I stick to turkey bacon.
I don't, the thing is I just don't eat stuff like that, smoked meats very often. So I just figure, when we have it, I'm like, yeah, because everybody loves it. And I eat like a piece. But I'm slowly realizing I'm not a big fan of pork anymore. And I don't know what happened. It's really weird, but I really don't like the way it feels in my mouth.
Yeah, Ryan's really been into wanting to try pork chops, but I just don't like them. I'm like, they're either really dry or they just have this odd gamey flavor that I don't like. I said, unless they're super, super seasoned, but even then, I'm like, what's the point of eating them? I don't like pork chops. So
yeah, I'm slowly not. I'm just not as much of a fan as I used to be. We'll do like pork tenderloin or whatever, and I'm just like, now the idea of it just it just revolts my brain. So I don't know what that is, but I have heard that as you get older, some people do develop aversions to food. And so maybe this is just a part of it. I don't know.
The other thing, too, I've noticed is I don't like boneless foods as much. Like, I like a lot more meats with bones now. I don't know why. I feel like the bones give it more flavor.
Oh, well, they totally do. Absolutely. Yes.
like when we get like steak or chicken or, you know, something like even the pork chops we got the last time they came with the bone way better. I was totally fine with those.
Yeah, it's true. I had a really great double cut pork chop about a month or so ago. And after I finished, I'm like, you know what? I don't ever need to eat pork again. Like, this is it for me. And it wasn't like it didn't taste good. It was very good. But I'm just like, it's too chewy for me. I'm like over it. And I'm not a big fan of steak as much either, which is kind of weird because I am a meat eater, but I'm like, I don't know. I keep thinking of that elk I had and I really liked it. All right. Well, we're way over time. So,
all right. Well, thanks everybody. We'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.